I am Adewale Oyeyemi, a senior associate editor for the Journal of Physical Activity and Health. Our journal recently published an article entitled Physical Behaviors and Their Association with Adiposity in Men and Women from a Low-Resourced African Setting. The lead author of the article is Dr. Ami E. Mendham from the Wits University and the University of Cape Town, South Africa. We would like her to briefly share her insight with us on this interesting research. Question 1. Why did you decide to pursue this research?
Thank you for having me. So we started this research because the rates of obesity in low-income and developing communities is increasing significantly, and it's commonly related to changes in physical activity patterns. And we know that physical activity patterns differ between high-income communities and low-income communities. So, for example, a high-income community will develop their moderate physical activity via leisure time activity, whereas a low-income community will develop their moderate physical activity by occupation, and their light physical activity usually by transport. So these patterns tend to dictate how we intervene with these communities. And in order to intervene, we need to understand the patterns. And there's very limited data in Africa and in low-income communities to understand physical activity behaviors so that we can intervene in the future.
Thank you. Question 2. What are the key takeaways from your findings?
So the key takeaway is very similar to what the World Health Organization recommends, in that any activity is of health benefit for reducing obesity and also improving health-related outcomes. So light physical activity replacing sedentary with light physical activity is of benefit, but the one of most benefit with the most significant reduction in body fat was replacing sedentary time with moderate physical activity. And this is shown in both men and women.
Question 3. What are the implications for future studies and interventions?
So this is interesting. We are planning to do a follow-up in this community to understand the changes in the physical activity patterns in relation to health-related outcomes and obesity. And so we will do a longitudinal cohort in that manner. And this type of data can help with, as I said before, with understanding how to intervene in the communities. It is quite difficult with low-income communities because their access to resources, access to facilities, safety issues around doing leisure time physical activity within the communities is also always a challenge. And so in understanding the context and in understanding the patterns, it's a step forward in being able to intervene within these communities.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mendham, for sharing your insight with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.